The Bihar caste census gave the first indication of what the plank for the India alliance in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections will be. It's going to be caste versus religion. And Rahul Gandhi promptly gave the war cry, Jitna Abadi, Utna Haq, meaning greater the population, greater the rights. Observers point out that the slogan could be problematic in the long run. It's like handing over the carefully crafted caste census challenge over to BJP on a platter. For instance, the slogan could be stretched to mean Hindus, by virtue of being majority, have greater rights over resources. Or in the context of delimitation, it could also mean that North India has more rights than the South because the population is bigger. It didn't take Prime Minister Narendra Modi to latch onto it. Since yesterday, the Congress started creating a narrative. They say, Jitni Abadi, Utna Haq. I say that if there is any large population in the country, it's the poor, and hence for me, the poor are the biggest population, and the welfare of the poor is my aim, he said. Modi did not stop there. He questioned what would former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh think about this. Manmohan Singh would say that the minorities have the first right on the resources of the country, and that too the Muslims. But now the Congress is saying the population will decide who will have the right first. The Prime Minister was talking about the speech his predecessor gave to the National Development Council in 2006 that became highly controversial. Taking a jibe at Congress, Modi said, "Does Congress now want to reduce the rights of the minorities?" Meanwhile, the Congress fumbled again when senior leader Abhishek Manu Singhvi reacted to Rahul Gandhi's statement. Taking to X, he wrote, "Equality of opportunity is never the same as equality of outcomes. People endorsing Jitni Abadi Utna Haq have to first completely understand the consequences of it. It will eventually culminate into majoritarianism." Singhvi later deleted the post after the party distanced itself from it and said that the post was tweeted by a staff member. But what does Rahul Gandhi's statement really mean for the minority populations in the country? And how does this statement impact the ongoing North versus South debate on the matter of delimitation? To understand it better, SoSouth connected with political analyst Muzaffar H Assadi, who spoke on matters such as the caste factor in Indian politics, how the caste census report affects the masses, what is in it for South India when it comes to delimitation, and more.
Yeah, I think it's not simply Hindu versus Muslim alone. It's a constructing a majoritarian view itself. One is that Jitni Abadi. Whose Abadi is about? Is the Hindu Abadi, or is it the OBC Abadi, or is it the Muslim Abadi? And now, one argument is that it might replace the Hindu majoritarian category vis-a-vis the OBCs. This is a fear that has been expressed in the context of Karnataka and Bihar as such. You look at the Bihar population is around 63% is OBC. See, Hindu majoritarianism there are two aspects of the Hindu majoritarian. One is the simple number, Hindu majoritarian, as against the Muslim minoritarianism. But the latest trend is particularly if you look at the OBC emerging as a newfound majoritarian kind of thing, particularly with regard to the Bihar. Probably this would happen even in the case of Karnataka also, wherein you have got one committee report, like Kantraj committee report, if that has not been made public. If it is made public, probably the OBCs would become the majority category. It might end up in political engineering of different social categories between social groups for the political power, because this is basically this whole exercise is done keeping in mind the political power more than the educational and the government structure. But I would definitely say that the people should be given representation according to their population. See, imagine there are communities whose population is very, very high, but their representation is nil. Take the case of the minorities. Minorities are 17% now in Bihar. Probably in India it is 14%. What is the population? What is the percentage of the minorities who have been represented in the political structure? It is less than 5%. Exactly. That's, I think, because there's a kind of fear psychosis that has been, circulating here in South India, saying that we are going to lose South Indians, we are going to lose the number of, seats vis-a-vis the North India. If you look at for example, Tamil Nadu probably losing 2 or 3, Karnataka also losing 2 or 3. In fact, Bihar state, particularly Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, they are effectively getting more number of seats. Probably, Uttar Pradesh is going to get around 11 seats. Bihar is, I think, almost 4 to 5, 6 more, which obviously means that if you control, now the whole argument about the centrality of the politics, there is an earlier argument also. Only person from the Uttar Pradesh can become the Prime Minister of India. Now, the whole argument is that if you control Uttar Pradesh and the Bihar, probably you can control the political power of India. South India becomes it will have the nominal existence in the larger politics of India, given the fact that the South Indian states are highly developed one in terms of the economic aspect. The second is that it is also in terms of the population growth is also decreasing in South India. And the third important thing, given the fact that the representation is very less, so they'll be literally marginalized. The third important component is that you can form the government without the without the help of the South Indian political parties. So it's going to be a North Indian phenomenon. OBC would become, or the majoritarianism would be a North Indian majoritarianism vis-a-vis the others. So it is both OBC majoritarianism, Hindu majoritarianism. It is the political majoritarianism coming from the North India. So it might lead to the North versus South one debate. It might lead to the debate. It might translate into the conflict also. It might translate into a new demand for the federal structure. It might bring strains or the stress to the Indian federal system.
This is Afreen Hussain, and you are watching India Today SoSouth.